So it appears that we have a good amount of red today in the markets. And this is part of what happens when you have a mix of different things that reach the headlines and sell off to continue to roll in today. So let's jump into it. We're going to do a full breakdown and see what's going on here. A couple things to note around the markets today as well. If you missed it, we just released a revolutionary new system. I went out, or I had some Milanesa with my wife here. We had some good dinner, and then we went out to go get some ice cream here in Buenos Aires. That's where I'm visiting. But also today and this evening, we revealed for first access members, the machine. So if you're looking to do analysis on stocks, in this case, for example, for quantum, there's a little bit of a correction that's being projected here from our AI. If you missed it, it's the first link in the description. And essentially, you get all the best models in the world. We just announced them. You can pull them up here. You can jump in, get the analysis from Grok or OpenAI or Claude or Gemini. These are the best models. And we just announced recently that you can now use these best models, the most premium available, and have them go do the research for you. If you're interested in getting really high-tech tools that are super simple and easy to use for your analysis that allow you to do things like visualize markets or just essentially get the projections from different AIs like Grok or OpenAI, then I would encourage you, have a look. We just did it in the first link in the description. So here's what we got going. Improvement says, sup, Will, how was your day today? It's been good. How are you doing? Improvement, how are you doing? So Johnny says, clear its sale. Will, thoughts on OPXS financials? Let's take a look. So overall, very healthy, very normal in the markets today. Very expected. We were kind of looking at some sell-offs to kick in towards the end of this week because of the rallies we saw spike earlier this week. Most companies pulled down. If you look at most trends right now, you could look at space tech, AI defense, they pulled back down to previous supports. If you look at the robotics industry, kind of the same deal. See a lot of pullbacks there. Tesla pulled back today, and it's kind of expected. These are not massive pullbacks, but they are pretty substantial. In the data center market, did see some pullbacks there as well. BITF pulled back about 7%. You see IREN pulled back down. And AMD had a nice pullback there as well. So most data center companies pulling on back, and that's all part of it. It's all part of the game. Kevin says, hey, ask Mercatus how it looks for tomorrow. I was just doing that as I mentioned. I mean, we could, what stock? Well, let's start it off here. OPXS. That's Optex Systems Holdings. We'll get some analysis going there. And then let's do some analysis here for Johnny real quick. Johnny, how are you guys doing? I know most portfolios at an all-time high yesterday. And then today we see things looking a little bit red today, right? $106 million market cap here, Johnny, on OPXS. I haven't looked at their products, but we're going to jump into financials. Let's see, revenue looks good, around 10 million to 12 million a quarter annually. They're increasing their revenue. Johnny, this is a really nice pick as far as income statement goes so far. Revenue's at 32% right now, year over year gain. Net income's up 66%. Johnny, one thing to consider that I think is actually notably good about a company with a $100 million market cap. I don't know what industry they're in. Can you tell me, why are you looking at it? Let me know. But when I'm looking at this and we see the revenue increasing, another thing to note is they have a positive net income. So they're actually turning a profit margin right now. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. Balance sheet, total assets up to 25 million and 27 million. How important is it, or how much better does it feel when you invest in companies in a market that sells off like today, but you are confident in the balance sheet, or you're confident and you can see right in front of you, they are growing, they're having growth? Well, I think it's the number one thing to keep integrity And that's why we don't cover pump and dumps. We don't do hype stocks. We invest in the companies that we do better in a down market. In fact, when we see red like today, we get so excited for market open. And we love to see the red. And especially in a market where AI is growing and robotics and data centers and space tech is evolving. I believe the golden age that we're in, when pullbacks happen, they're a blessing. So when we see this move here, again, total assets look good there, Johnny, on this one. Thanks for sharing it. Again, assets up 14% and their liabilities are down 8%. I don't have anything bad to say about the financials. Let's take a look at their market cap. Again, 100 million, and they got 140 employees. Okay, so it looks like maybe they have a pretty simple website here. Optics. Okay, so they're in potentially what could be some military tech. Am I understanding that correctly? Let's see, investor. Okay, military tech. All right. So let's see where they're at. So specifically, they focus on optics. So we're talking about, let's see, could be night vision, could be thermal, could be something related to being able to see, whether it's for drone tech or for persons in the military. I would imagine there's some sort of personal connection. Johnny, what is the personal connection, man? I know that were you not formerly a SWAT? If you guys don't know, because I call every single stockmates, every one of our members that are in stockmate where we trade live every morning, I call all of our members. I don't know if you guys know that here inside of stockmates. And because I want to know what are the net worths of individuals. We have 28 millionaires in stockmate. I like to ask and that's just stocks. There's others that have, other assets at over $1 million, but specifically in stocks, 28 millionaires in here. I call them all in stockmate, and I called Johnny, and if I'm not mistaken, Johnny said he used to work in SWAT. So Johnny, let me know. Is this did you find this through some previous work, or where did you find this one? All right, Department of Defense contracts, customers there with Marine Corps along with Navy, Chile. Okay. Base Systems, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon. Yeah, it makes sense that they're having the market opportunity they're talking about here. And honestly, what you look for, right? We're not here to directly support war, right? This is defense, obviously. But when we're looking at the growth of these companies, there's a reason the revenue's up. You also see more granting of the contracts specifically for defense, especially after the big, beautiful bill. Now, I don't know how they were doing today. What was their stock up to today? OPXS. And also, let's get a Mercatus view. Looks like Mercatus is saying they're going to be down over the next 4 hours. Does that sound about right here for optics? Negative 1%, maybe correcting a little bit more here. We could check Claude and see what's going on Claude as well. Or actually, yeah, we could do Claude. That's cool. Let's get an AI analysis from Claude. I've been using Claude a lot lately. I think that I've found that Grok is good for short term. Claude is good for like medium term. Gemini, I think, is really well versed with the Google models for long term. And then OpenAI is kind of like, I've found it to be more of a consensus one. And then at some point, we're going to have an average of all the models, so you can kind of see, projections from all the models. That's where we're going right now. Okay, so let's see. Next 4 hours on OPEX, it's actually pretty negative here, projections over the next 4 hours. Over the next day, potentially recovery here. Fairly bullish on the stock according to AI and Claude here, Johnny. I mean, we see this projection of about 12% here in the next 6 months. That's a pretty good gain there for the company. So yeah, I mean, that looks good. One thing to consider, I don't know if you're familiar with this, guys, but one thing that you might not know is government shutdowns. Did you know government shutdowns on average, they average about 12% gain in the market? But if you look at the analysis, let me jump in one more time with this government shutdown. I think I've been clicking something weird. And I just want to get the analysis here, or the market impact, I think it was. Let's see. No, it was the I think that's right. Let's see, historical impact. Okay, so defense contracts, though, if there's any market, if you see this, if there's any market that has a negative effect from government shutdowns, what market is it? It's the defense market. 8.2% negative on average. Now, technology here, they've been down. In general, market returns, again, are positive, but you do see sector impact. Some of the most affected sectors are defense contractors. And so that's kind of where we see the red hit the markets, is that shutdown. It's good for general market. Over the year, it's fine. As I said, usually we have positive returns. In fact, we've had positive returns since the government shutdown. But again, when you're looking at defense industry specifically, you're not going to see really any new contracts during that time. So that's kind of why it's so important. We're considering this data in our AI analysis. In fact, we give the AI models the government shutdown data, we give it the SEC filings, we give the news hub company info, we give it all the real-time data for the projections, just so you guys know. So if you're wondering about Mercatus, this is our app Mercatus, and we've been using it all the time. In fact, we just added a new feature, which I'm excited about, which is our new watch list. And you can go from here to your analysis, and we could do IonQ or what have you. What's another one? Elvis says TSSI. I might as well start our new watch list for data centers. TSSI. Oh, nope. We'll call it data centers. Keep it organized here. Got a new watch list, data centers, and we're going to go TSSI. There it is. All right, who asked for the analysis? Elvis. Elvis, which AI model paired with the best data sources in the world that we're able to get for you? Which premium version of which AI model do you want? Do you want Grok, OpenAI, Claude? You want Gemini? If you respond back, I'll do it for you. We can do a Mercatus analysis. But in the meantime, let's take a look at TSSI. So TSSI here. So yeah, again, OPXS, I like it. I think it's a good long-term play there, Johnny. But again, defense contracts, just one to watch there. Okay, and Johnny confirmed. He says, I was formerly SWAT. But also OPXS was mentioned in StockMate. Okay, all right, I got it. But yeah, all right, cool, man. So TSSI, thank you. I told you that story about how one time I was sleeping at a friend's or a cousin's house with my dad, and we heard this super loud boom, crazy, super loud boom, and it shook the whole house and woke us up. And my dad and I were like, oh my gosh, did somebody get shot? And we like look out the window. This was in Corona, California, not like the best neighborhood we were in. And there's a minivan pulling up onto the lawn with like no plates or like California exempt plates, and SWAT guys get out of the minivan. And I'm not talking like a minivan, like a SWAT van. I'm talking about like a soccer mom car van. And they get out and they're running to the back and they say, stay in the house, stay in the house. There's a meth lab behind your house or something, or across the block. And it just blew up and we're seizing him now. And then they like hop our back fence, go over like 2 houses and then arrest this guy. And then like, yeah, thanks. It was so funny. But I told Johnny this story and I was like, Johnny, when they went to go do that, do you think that they just randomly did that? Or did they have to plan out the soccer mom van, the different points of attack, that they were going to go from all directions, or that they were going to have this person go here, this person go here, so they can get the person? They had a whole plan. And I was like, so you got to have a plan when you get into these shorter term trades. You got to have, where's your entry? Where's your exit? What's your thesis? Things go well, plan A, what's that look like? Plan B, things don't go well, what's that look like? And he's like, I got it. Do you remember that conversation we had, Johnny? Man, good stuff. So Elvis says TSSI. Now, TSSI has been growing. They're up from $5 back in March up to $32 a share. They sold back down to $12, and then they've been uptrending. Now, there's levels of support here. Kind of see these levels. Maybe it's holding around that $17 price point. We kind of see it try and hold. The next level of support here is around $15 a share. Now, last time we were watching it, we were looking for a recovery like this. We saw that 15% recovery happen in about a day. The stock swinged, and we actually traded it. We bought TSSI on a dip around here. Where was it? Right around here, about a week ago. And then we watched it surge. I think we bought it back here, and we watched it surge up to about $22 or $21, and we sold it at market open. I was at an airport in Stockmate. We're there live. And so with that move, we saw it, we sold it, and it sold back down. You see it here. TSSI is there at that $17 price point, looking to potentially recover. Now, when it comes to TSSI, they're a data center supplier or company that works with data center companies on the infrastructure side of things. So data centers are powering AI. A lot of data center companies are seeing growth because of AI. If we look at TSSI, you can see their financials are at just a $466 million market cap. And you can look down here on the quarterly, they've had revenues here growing. So annually, just in 2024, they did 150 million. See that growth in revenue with the positive net income. Then in quarterly, if you look into 2025, they're already past $150 million in revenue. So it's only 2 quarters reported, and they've beat 2024. So they're already beating 2024, and they only have 2 quarters reported. So ideally, or what's most likely going to happen, is they're going to maybe double revenue again. And so year over year, they're up 261% year over year change on the revenue. Net income is up as well. They're bringing in positive cash. And then the balance sheet, they don't have a lot of equity. The assets are up to 140 million. But here's why we're watching TSSI too. Again, just to put it in perspective, 466 million, they're probably doing 400 million this year. And then when we look at their recent developments, they're supplying these services for data centers. Every big AI tech company, from Apple to Google to Microsoft to what have you, all said, we're building more data centers. We're moving them here. We want to construct them. They're going to need configuration services. They're going to need data center services to get these things up and running. And this company, TSSI, specializes in getting data centers going or maintaining them. So the maintenance of, the upgrading of, and the consulting for data centers. And so they'll do everything from rack integration to data center moving a data center, AI and cybersecurity, structured cabling, facility site survey assessments, all the things that most data center companies would need. And so let's take a look at the machine on TSSI here. And let's see if Elvis gave it. Oh, he said Gemini. Ooh, let's see. Because I just saw today, Gemini, we had, we'll see how it goes here, because Gemini was, this is a funny one, because I was just talking with Ryan. Gemini is still giving us a bug today. That's funny. All right, we'll do Claude instead. I was just talking with Ryan, our developer, and we just migrated from the normal Gemini API to their highly scalable AI so that we can create our own large language models with Google. And so when we were doing that migration today, really just today in the last few days into this week, but we should have it done by tomorrow, Gemini's given us a little bit of trouble. So let's see here. Let's see how TSSI comes in on projections from the AI. It's looking at the press releases. Okay, fairly bearish here in the short term. 4-hour bearish, clear downtrend channel with that lower highs. Is that the case? That's kind of what we're talking about. So what it's considering right now is this nearer term downtrend. So you see this getting rejected. So TSSI, while they're in the data center market, it's a great market. They're still seeing this rejection here. And so they could continually get, if they don't find support here as they're kind of breaking it, maybe sell back down further to that $15 range and sell down. But overall, though, overall, the stock's been pretty bullish if we just take a step back. And so let's see what else Mercatus says. Next 4 hours, next day, -2%. Okay, so fairly bearish there. But if you go to the next month, it's looking bullish. Let's see the next week. Fairly bullish. So that's a 2% gain, Elvis. And then on the 3-month, fairly bullish, about an 8% gain potential. It's saying overall, seeing that bigger trend, 200-day moving average, it's got that $17.40 support. And so it's saying, hey, we might see this downtrend happen, but this level right here, 1740, maybe it can, if it can hold around this range and break out like we're talking about here, then we're looking good. So, and then the next 6 months, let's see how that looks. 6 months is bullish, about 12.6% projections. According to Claude, Claude's fairly balanced, hasn't been necessarily really bullish or bearish, but it's been very helpful. So again, that's how it looks on the machine in Mercatus. Awesome, awesome. Daniel says, what app is this? That is going to be Mercatus. This is our AI. And it's basically our go-to tool. If you ever need it, it's in the first link in the description. And right now it's in beta, but it should be fully operational for general public in about a month or so. But right now you can use it. I use it quite often. It's the first link below to get access. Let's see, JT, thoughts on LAC? I don't know. I didn't follow that mineral side of things during that hype. I'm not really sure. So I'm not really versed on it. So yeah, anyway, with TSSI, we're watching the bullish trend, a little downtrend, overall uptrend though in the long term. So that's that for TSSI. That's really just it. What else do you got? Quantum muscling upwards resumes. 3% loss on Quantum. Quantum stocks had a correction today, very expected. If you guys want a full analysis, because I could give you some analysis here for sure, but I did do a full breakdown earlier today on Quantum. Let me see if I can find it here. There it is, Quantum. Let me just get the link for you and I'll drop it on over for you in the chat. If you want the full breakdown on Quantum, you know, because like I can give you the analysis, but I really did go in deep earlier today. If you want the full breakdown, can we do IonQ? Yeah, let's take a look here. IonQ. Wait. I want to go from my own watch list. I like this new feature. Quantum, IonQ, Claude. Cool. I'm super excited. All right, so when it comes to Redwire, okay, so Redwire, same thing. And it's not that I'm happy to cover it, but we also did AI defense stocks earlier today. So I'm going to drop that link to. There you are. There you are. Yeah, of course, dang, Frederick, you were close to take profit when it hit 9, you missed opportunity. No worries. Hey man, that's okay. If you miss an opportunity to sell, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's bad. Can you check Bull stock? Yes. Bull. Bullish. Webull. Okay. Bull stock has sold off. I've never really been bullish on this stock, and I don't mean that as a pun. I mean, I'm really like, the problem with this company is that they don't do anything that different than most other brokerages. They're good. They're on the phone. They have some stuff that works well for analyzing stocks. They give out free stocks. They have maybe 24-hour trading. I think they have crypto. They're a brokerage company. And this is the deal. You want to look for, I mean, you don't have to, but in my eyes, you want to look for companies that are doing things that are really changing the game. And I mean, I'm a founder myself, right? So we analyze stocks all day. I've been watching the markets for years, and I'm up every morning, and I like to do it. And then also, as you see with this analysis here on IonQ, for example, this is our software. Like I work in, I do software, right? But I'm always saying, like, I think we should do something. We should do something that's groundbreaking, you know. And so I don't know. With Bull stock, let's just take a look, because I don't want to talk them down, because they're a brokerage, but it's kind of similar. Like, brokerages are good, but why do JP Morgan or other companies have billions of dollars in assets but like not trade at that high of a price? A lot of times it's because it's like, how much of a contribution to society are they making? Like, why do companies that just buy Bitcoin not have very good integrity? It's because like they sell shares to buy Bitcoin or what have you, So let's see, revenue, they are slightly increasing, but pretty standard year over year in their revenue. They are on track to grow revenue wise over 2025, as annually they were doing about $400 million in 2024. And it looks like they might surpass 450 million here in 2025. So their revenue is up 44%. That looks good. I still don't understand how a brokerage / software company could show a negative net income. To me, that's absolutely insane. Like, okay, if it's like Twitter before they got optimized and laid off employees, then it's like, all right, they don't have a profit, maybe they don't have ads, but like software companies have good margins. Now, I can tell you that like, not only do they have good margins, but a company that like has a financial software company that literally not is just financials, but manages money, and they're losing 28 million a quarter, or at least in that quarter, to me, that's absolutely crazy. I don't know how they could lose. And why do they have 1,200 employees? It's just, it seems like a Twitter situation. Assets are up to 2.6 billion. Total liabilities 1.87 billion. Total assets or equity about 750 million. And their market cap's at 5.8 billion. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. We could see them do well. But personally, I'm not really like that attracted to the company, because I just haven't seen the value to the marketplace that I like to see. And that's just a big indicator for me. Some people just look at what everybody's talking about, but I think the integrity of like how much value they're bringing is really important. Let's see, Rigetti, $39 buy, $30 buy, $25 buy. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to quantum, we did a full video on it today, but essentially these companies are doing amazing things for the future. And most likely at some point, computers will be smaller, data centers won't need to be so big, and quantum computers will be a great resolution to optimizing GPUs. And they'll be used to accelerate and scale AI, most likely. However, right now, where quantum is there's limited usage. There is very much limited usage on quantum. Like, you see them partner with Amazon, and you see them partner with Google and Microsoft, a lot of these companies like IonQ, for example, in the quantum space. But even so, their revenues are still very small revenues. And so that, combined with the government shutdown right now and some of the tariffs too, I mean, I don't know that they're going to continue to thrive to all-time highs, but I have long-term positions that I'll hold. And I do believe in the tech. I believe in the tech quite aggressively. Part of the reason why too, if we like search up what's one of the stocks someone's looking for, we did a coverage on BITF earlier. Let's do a BITF though. Some good ones here. Frederick says Is quantum, yeah, is it all hype? I think in the near term, right now, it's just pricing in for the future. I don't think it's necessarily all hype. Dolphin says, don't cry about Rigetti. Yeah, man. I mean, it's part of the game, right? See the sell-off today? Very normal and kind of expected. I think we were all looking for, that we were just talking about it. In fact, if you watch the video that I just dropped in the chat around quantum here, you'll see like yesterday, we totally were saying that we were expecting a call, or we were expecting a pullback there on quantum. They were at a resistance and everything else. So Bitfarms, so this is how much I believe in quantum though, that we're very soon going to be integrating quantum into our AI analysis here. So it's not like, I'm telling you, it's not like, I've been to quantum conferences, multiple conferences. I've met even the CEOs of some of these companies. I've talked with the executives. I really do believe in the technology, but again, it's pretty far ahead from a valuation standpoint right now as far as the market goes compared to the real world usage. But I'm doing everything I can right now, I'm telling you, to literally use it. Like we're coming soon with D-Wave and IonQ and Rigetti over in Mercatus for analysis. When it comes to Bitfarms, you can see the next day looks bearish. Over the next day, 2.5% bearish. But look at that over the next week, maybe bullish. Look at that. Oh, next month, potentially bearish as well. What's it evening out for? What is that? The moving averages, RSI, resistance, it's falling support at $5. Yeah, so support at $5, if it can hold it, that's kind of what we've been watching on BITF. They're a data center company similar to APLD, but not as many deals as APLD. And they recently pulled back heavy down to $5. Last time we traded them, we bought at $5 a share. And we sold around $6 a share. And they just pulled back down to that moving average, see that green line. So they have a $5 support. There is a $5 support where they had previously bounced. It's also a previous resistance here around $5. So we'll watch them tomorrow morning. Maybe they're the outlook we watch. RSI and MACD now looking oversold. They are falling right now, so you got to be careful. Maybe that's why the projections on Mercatus are showing fairly negative in the next day or so. Let's see, 2.5% potential sell down further. They're saying that last quoted around $5.28, and it was projecting it to drop further down to around 5.15. It actually ended up dropping down further from 5.25 to about $5.10. So Mercatus was fairly right, but it is expecting here in the next week to go fairly bullish. So we'll be watching there. It looks like it's kind of looking at that $5 support as well here. Yeah, $5 support is going to be the one to watch. But it looks like, let's see how it looks long term. Long term, it's looking fairly bullish for Bitfarms. And the main reason why is probably just the construction of the data centers. And we see them start to continue to expand there. I think it was just, we were looking at the financials, they were getting better. And then data center deployment in North America and South America. You can see these data centers, they got multiple. And they're not only going into the round of Bitcoins or mining, but also providing those services for other companies as well for data centers. So I think they're in a good market right now with AI. We'll continue to watch them for sure. They're a dynamic and exciting company and super volatile at the moment. Oh, Chang says, I worked so hard this year, made like 8K, and this week I lost half of it. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. What did you do? Let's see, improvements. Let's see, forget BITF. Yesterday's news. Rigetti, though, show us 6 months down the road. Yeah, definitely it could be worth a look. Jovong says, song next week, bounce back, baby. Yeah, we could be watching. I'd be pretty conservative in terms of investing this week. I've gone nuts, super volatile. We have been super conservative. We were just trading earlier this week. We had we locked in profits on BITF, actually about $1,200 earlier this week. And then we got back in and traded it earlier, and we had set a really tight stop, and we cut losses very quickly, because we're conservative too. You know, we don't trade any short-term trades that aren't things that we would feel comfortable with from their financials, from their fundamentals and everything else. And we always have a plan going in. So appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are going to be doing a live session tomorrow morning. If you want to tune on in, make sure to jump on to YouTube, as we are going to be live there. And if you ever want to join StockMate and get in on the action, it's the second link below. If you want to check out Mercatus, again, it's the first link in the description. And I would love to see you guys there. I hope you have a great rest of your night. If I earned your thumbs up, seriously, smash the like button if I earned it. And do consider subscribing. I hope you guys have a good day. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.